Hi, everyone. I'm Reidy, the host of Rowing on the Square podcast. And today I'm going to talk to you about continuous glucose monitors. I know that historically, continuous glucose monitors are used for people who have issues with blood sugars, diabetes, whether it be type 1 or type 2. It helps people to, especially with type 2, to be able to manage their diabetes kind of in real time, which is amazing. But there are some over-the-counter versions. And I decided, based on, I have a client who has the prescription style, and she was talking about just all the different insight that she was able to get by having the monitor on and being able to see how different foods affect her blood glucose. So out of curiosity, I went ahead and I got one of these kits, and we're done. It's been 2 weeks now that I've been wearing the monitor, and I believe this is the setup for then putting on your monitor. So there's a clip here. You put that in there, twist it, and then this piece, which is in my arm, which has been in my arm for the last 2 weeks, I have not had any problems with the monitor sticking, although I did follow the directions and used like an alcohol prep wipe to clean the arm, and that's really all that I did, and I was able to get it to stick for the full 2 weeks. I know some of the reviews on Amazon said that they had trouble with it sticking for the full 2 weeks. So if you're worried about that, there are like monitor specific covers that you can get for your monitor. So if you go to like what I did, because I was concerned in the beginning, so I went over to CVS to go purchase the covers, but the covers are specific to each specific monitor. So if you do pick up the over-the-counter version, which is the Lingo, which is about $50 for one monitor, and it lasts for 2 weeks. You have to buy the covers that are provided online for that specific one. I did kind of play around with using a dressing, like a Band-Aid kind of style dressing. There was some research out there saying that you could use like athletic tape. I was just afraid that like as I was peeling it off, I would pull it off. So I decided not to bother wearing anything, and it worked out just fine. I didn't have a problem with it coming off. It didn't peel up at any point. It's still on, and at this point I got to take it off. So I thought I would wait for this video to take it off so I can show you guys kind of what it looks like. And let's see if this will come off easy after 2 weeks of being on my arm. And it does. So the monitor, like I said, is good for 2 weeks. And it basically, like the app shuts off after 2 weeks. So I wasn't getting any more data this morning after it hit the 2-week mark. I'm going to show you there is a needle in here. So yeah, like when I saw that needle, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to put that in my arm just for fun. But it actually did not hurt. So I was very concerned about it, thinking that it was totally going to hurt, and it totally didn't. So I would not let the needle deter you. I can kind of look at my arm now. I don't know. I guess there is a little spot there, it was in my muscle. So yeah. Did it feel weird while I had it on? Yeah, at times. Like, especially like if you hit it, like it was like, oh, like you could kind of feel it kind of pushing around. But I don't know if that was just because, like, I don't know. You're thinking to yourself, you got a needle in your arm, so if you hit it, it's gonna hurt. So I don't know how much of it was actually hurting. I would, walk through a doorway a little bit too shy, too close to it, and it would bump it. But it read accurately for the full 2 weeks. So what did I find out? Some basic stuff, all the stuff that you know about blood glucose and sugary foods, totally true. So I kind of tested out, and the reason I really want to do this is because I've been working a lot on like just making food preps and having things ready for me to eat, because I find that I eat better if I've already prepped the food. So I just wanted to make sure that the food that I was prepping wasn't necessarily sending my blood glucose into the sky. So come to find out, like I do like a collagen and protein and creatine powder in the morning. That's a nice little mix. Really doesn't affect my blood glucose all that much. Like I was hanging out somewhere in the 70 range, 70, 80 range most of the time. If I drank it in the morning, it would make it go up just by a little bit. General patterns that I notice is that as soon as I wake up, my blood glucose goes up. And I think that's just because my body knows that I'm getting ready to move and do. If I don't, if I do have the collagen and the protein and the creatine, the protein has a little bit of sugar in it. So that does help me, when I start doing my workouts in the morning. It really didn't make a difference. I was trying to see if it was going to make a difference in the overall peak that I get from exercise, because I did find that when I would go out for my run, the peak of the run, like I would be somewhere in the 110 range. So my blood glucose would go up pretty significantly while I was running, and then it would come ceremoniously back down after I was done with my exercise. So that was consistent across the board. Anytime I would exercise, it would bring my blood glucose up to 110, 120. It just brought it up, and then it would come right back down after I was done exercising. Food, like the oatmeal, having oatmeal protein, chia, and so a little couple pieces of fruit would create like a little mountain, but nothing significant. What really would send me into the stratosphere, so get me back up to like my exercise level, which would be like 120, would be doughy pizza. I ate like a thin crust pizza, didn't have as much of an effect as a doughy pizza. Doughy pizza definitely brought it up. And like you would assume, ice cream, that did it. Potato chips, that did it. So all the basic things that you already know that aren't good for you is probably is food for thought as far as like controlling your blood glucose. I was trying to see, because I make like a mason jar salad, so like dressing on the bottom, veggies, some protein in there, and then lettuce on top. And I was trying to see if if there was a big reason why I would get so much more hungry after I would eat something like that. Like, it wasn't that my blood glucose was going up and then going like right down, but it really wasn't anything in particular. I think it might be in my head. I start eating, I eat something, and then after I'm done eating it, I'm kind of just hungry for more. But I feel like if I can just wait a couple minutes, or wait, like, get through 15 minutes of like that feeling of, ooh, I could go for something else, and I kind of don't go for something else, the feeling goes away. But it really didn't line up particularly with any of like the blood glucose numbers. I was wondering if it was like shooting my blood glucose down very far. But I did notice that if, like, say it was like a day that I had breakfast and then like lunch got really, really late, by the time I ate lunch, my blood glucose could be down to like 60. And so like when it got to 60, I felt hungry. So sometimes, like, so now I know that like when I feel like, when I'm genuinely hungry, I'm actually hungry. So that's kind of that's kind of good. I mean, the overall lesson that I learned was that like my body's doing what it's supposed to do. And my primary care physician, shout out to her, that she was very correct on the fact that like I don't have an issue right now with my blood glucose. My father did have type 2 diabetes, so I'm just hypersensitive to that. But I'm a daily exerciser, and I've gotten control over my morning and midday eating. If I could just get the evening eating under control, that would be great. It did give me some some reinforcement for the idea that if I eat dinner between like 5 and 6, my blood glucose will go up, but then it will go down, and it'll get to like its like base level, and it will stay there while I'm sleeping and not peak or anything at night. I did notice some like up and down peaks at night if I ate late. So I don't know if I can necessarily align that with like sleep quality. Is my sleep quality better when I didn't have the peaks and stuff at night? I couldn't tell the difference, but it could be something that maybe if you're wearing the monitor for a couple different rounds, it would be worth kind of figuring that out. If you have sleep troubles, it might be something to kind of think about. Maybe it might be data that's worth it for you. I'm a pretty good sleeper, so I don't want to dive into that anymore. Like the real reason that I had picked it up and tried it out was I just wanted to make sure that these prepared meals that I was making for myself were not meals that were going to really spike my blood glucose. And the ones that really do spike my blood glucose are the carb-based meals. Are the meals that you would expect to totally spike your blood glucose. So that that's really the takeaway, is that the things that that you're supposed to be doing for your body, start doing those things and do as many of those things as you can. So I know I love exercise. If I could exercise my way out of the food that I eat, like I would totally do it, but like I can't exercise out like potato chips. So you might just have to take them out of or speaking to myself, I might have to just take them out of my diet completely if I don't want the after effects of potato chips, which is excess weight that I have to carry around when I'm trying to exercise. So I hope this is helpful. And like I said, I did the Lingo by Abbott. You can order it on Amazon. It's $50, and then there's the app that goes with it. Inside the app, you can put in each event. What I thought was really interesting? Stress really increases my blood glucose. So stress on top of like if I was stress eating, so say I ate something that wasn't particularly good for me / very carb based, it would send my blood glucose up. And the example that I was using is I ate dinner and it was a high carb dinner. My blood glucose was going back down. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go and do some work. And I was doing some work that like I was avoiding. So I kind of had like a little bit of angst about doing it, but I was going to get it done. That actually brought my blood glucose back up to what it was when I ate the carby food. And it went up and it stayed up for a while, and then it went back down. And I had done all this like in the evening before I went to bed. And then my blood glucose overnight was elevated. It was like 70, 80. It was more like 90 that whole evening because I ate the carb meal plus I was stressed out. So that sucks. And I tried like a super carby meal and then exercising after it. And what happened with that was that it went up with the super carby meal. It went down because I started to exercise, but then it almost like rebounded. And I don't know if the rebound was from like my body expecting me to work out longer, because I got on a bike for like 15 minutes after the carby meal. And so usually my workouts are somewhere in like the 30-minute range. And so I noticed these really nice curves for like 30 minutes. And even for like if I did like a further run or something, I noticed nice curves that kind of went along with what I was doing. But this particular thing was like it went very high with the carb meal. It went completely down, like below, like it went into like the 60s, completely down, but then it went, when I stopped exercising, it went right back up. So for me, I don't know if I, like I said, you can't exercise away a bad meal. And I think that potentially, if I did another round of this, I might want to see if I take a carby meal, I let my body do what it wants to do with it, and then maybe exercise to bring myself down to like back to like a normal level. But exercising directly after having it, I almost felt like it made it worse. So it's something that everyone will kind of have to play around with. Everybody's body's a little bit different, but I feel like this was just really nice information, just that things are working well and working the way that they should. So If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, put it in the comments, like and subscribe wherever you're listening to this. And thanks for checking out Rowing on the Square podcast. Thanks.